How you doing? I had a great day today. I had a very successful and great day today. How was your day? I like to hear that. I like to hear that. Alright, so this written meditation that I had the other day, I wrote it down. It was more of a topic that I wrote about. And it's called The Art of Being by Justin Travis. By the ego. Because the ego is what wrote it down into the physical on pencil and paper. But the information didn't come from the physical. It came from my higher self and my higher way of being spiritually. So, this is what I wrote. Let me get a little closer so you can hear me too. I am not the being Justin. I am not being a being, but I am being myself through this character called Justin. So, I'm gonna say it like this. I was introduced to this perspective of how we play characters. We play different characters. We play different characters when we're alone or when with other people. You know, even though I feel like, sorry, I had to think about that. But I feel like even though to practice spirituality, that comes with loving yourself and loving others as well, the same way you would treat yourself, treat others. Even so, I feel like we, or at least myself, I will act differently between those two topics, being alone and being with others. I'm not act the same. That's just me. I can only speak for myself, but I feel like it's a majority. I feel like it's a majority because I'm not gonna be. I'm not. Ooh, there's a fly on me. I'm not afraid to speak my truth, but I'm not gonna always be speaking that in public due to low frequencies and really me just not having time for. And what I mean by that is if I were to say my contradictions out loud, you know, if someone were to say something, what's an example that I can think of? What comes to mind right now is somebody calling themselves a loser. If they were speaking to me, I would definitely say that contradiction. But if I was just hearing it like across the way, that's something I would say in my head. I'm not gonna go, hey yo, or whatever. You know, I'm not about to. Sometimes it's good to go out your way to do something for someone else, but I feel like at that point I have a choice. Yes, I could, and yes, I may, but it depends on the circumstances. I am temporarily playing this role in my movie called Life. And I said my, but it's not. That's a contradiction that I wrote down. And I wanted to better myself by correcting myself. This is not mine to own. This is just an experience. So this is the movie called Life. Not my life, but yes, my life. Shit. Yes, my life, but it's not mine to own. That's the contradiction. Because what do we own besides ourselves? But that's a contradiction in ourselves. That's a contradiction in itself. That's a contradiction in ourselves. I feel like that could work too. That's a contradiction in the minds that aren't awakened beyond the 3D. And every day I'm just so grateful to be able to, I was gonna say know what I'm in, but we never fully know what we're in until we transcend mentally out of this realm. So, but I can get a little taste of that. You see what I'm saying? Okay. I am temporarily playing this role in my movie. Let me fix that. I wrote it how it was. The movie called Life, to experience what it means to be human while embodying my lower self and allowing my spirit to guide me blindly. So, experiencing what it means to be human. What is a human? When a human, it's just a title. Time is non-existent. Everything is happening now through quantum realities and different realms of existence and dimensions or dimensional ways of thinking. So if we were to go back, I don't know, before titles were titles, that's a whole rabbit hole. I'm not even gonna get into that. I was gonna say, because before there was time, there was always time. You see, because if everything is now, then this is just a script playing out that was always meant to play out according to gematria, or if you want to, if you want to just learn about that. I was trying to make it more than what it should have been, but that's okay. While embodying my higher self and allowing my spirit to guide me blindly. So, my spirit is the fire within me, but it has no form. But if it did have a form, I feel like it would be fire, or it would be some numbers calling me. It would be my higher self, whatever that image is to you. And that energy is just beyond anything in the physical. It has no fear. It only loves. Alright, so this energy may be invisible, but by following it, and I put in quotations myself, I can paint a picture of what my future self looks like and create that quantum version of myself. That's a contradiction too, because let's say that spot. Because yes, I am creating that, but that always existed. That timeline always existed. I'm just creating that timeline. Sorry, I don't mean to do that hand symbolism, but I'm creating that version of myself within this multidimensional vessel. So what that means is I'm picking and choosing different versions of myself, that I will think about or envision. Your thoughts. You're thinking of, let's say, you're thinking through the ego and you're thinking about robbing this bank. And I'm not gonna get too much into that, or you could be thinking without the ego and asking yourself, who am I going to harm in doing this? Does this woman have a family? Does this woman have kids? Not just going out the way to do it because of narcissism. But I feel like with narcissism, everybody has some form to that. It's the intention with that energy, or it's the energy of that intention. Because would it be narcissistic of myself to take care of myself and love myself before anyone else? Obviously, there are times where I'm going to give that into someone else. But isn't that narcissistic? But if that's just my nature, then why put a label on it? It's just the intention. That's how I see it. Right, I said I can paint a picture of what my future looks like and create that quantum version of myself in this experience and bringing it to my observation. Right. So painting a picture of what your future self looks like is really just about sitting in silence. It doesn't always have to be silence. But sitting in silence does help. You could have music. You could have some whatever playing. Frequency. But that made me lose my thought. That playing, bro. It's just a frequency though. It's not even a plane. Like, you see how just blaring that is compared to this bliss. But you can't even name it. You can't even name it. Mother's nature. I like my mother's nature. I'm just reading where I was at. I allow the ego to have fun because it can bring me new experiences plus perspectives that I can alchemize for myself to be better. So like, I've never been to a party before. Things like that, I'm not gonna lie, they never really formed intention within me, or form interest within me. And that could be because in the past life I've been through a lot of trauma, and me coming back into this life, I have now been I wouldn't even say rewarded. What is that noise? I can't say rewarded because if it was never mine, what did I win? What did I win besides a higher mindset? Anyways. I move with intention and love and the want to learn as well as growth for myself and others. That is my way of being. I continue to be better than who I was yesterday, 1 week, 2 years, etc. Peace, abundance, and vitality. I say vitality because you should be taking care of yourself. Drinking your water, your fruits. But every now and then, it's good to, it's cool to have some, like, a cheat meal. is good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, food be so good sometimes. But to wrap it up, I was really just speaking on my perspective on what this, or what my observation observes. And that to achieve that, you really have to heal your DNA. You have to heal your ancestral and my bad, ancestral DNA, ancestral traumas, generational traumas, or generational traumas. And how you heal that and how you figure out what that is to ask yourself. That's really how easy it is. Just giving time to yourself and just sitting with yourself with no distractions, no food, no TV. Just sitting out in Mother's nature. So, you know, I still have a lot of growth for myself. But I know I'm already there. But I contradict that and tell myself, no, I can be better. So, you can be like me too. But don't be like me, be yourself. And that's that. I love y'all. Have a great day. Peace.